What's going on, YouTube? Once again, another video coming at your way here from Silver Surfer. Just wanted to show you guys my part 3 of my 20th century typeset and talk a little bit about them. 3 different coins. This one's going to be on the quarters, as you guys can see down in front of you. And without further ado, let's get into it. So the first one we have here is going to be the 1942. This one's graded by PCGS and Proof 65. Washington quarter here. So this is part of my 1942 proof set. As many of you know, I originally started out with this idea of putting this 20th century set together with the 1942 proof set. So let's take a nice close look at this. Really nice example of it. No toning going on here. Beautiful luster still on the actual obverse. Didn't get any cameo. You know, these coins are expensive. I think there was a little bit over 21,000 of them minted. So the highest of the proof sets for the Washington quarters, as this was the last year of proofs to be minted before the war or during the war. Here's a reverse for you guys. Get a nice close look, but nonetheless, just a nice example of a PR65. Really like the design of the Washington quarter. You know, I grew up with this coin in circulation. It's still in circulation, and just happy with it overall. So that's the 42 proof Washington quarter. Moving on, we're going to take a look at the 1976 Washington quarter. This one's graded Proof 69 Deep Cameo. Look at that mirrors. Check that out. Just an all around highly reflective. I mean, look at the reflectivity of it. It's capturing everything on my desk here. And if you guys notice, 1776 to 1976, that's kind of a special year, right? So this is a 200-year bicentennial commemoration of the United States of America. Really neat history on this. The obverse is unchanged from the prior quarters. The reverse, however, many of you guys know, has the Colonial Drummer Boy. Check that out. So really love this coin. You know, I don't know why that is. I think just mainly because I love the significance of the Colonial Drummer Boys within the American Revolution as well as the Civil War. They were big parts of it. Great stories about them. If you want to go ahead and read up on it, I actually have another kind of special coin though, which I'll talk more history on the Drummer Boy and its significance to the war in a later video. But anyways, so this design was created in 1976, actually a little bit before that. And as many of you know, the last of the commemorative series we had was shut off in 1954 with the Booker T. Washington and the George Washington Carver. A number of different reasons why that was the case. The mint individual who was promoting those commemoratives did a poor job at distribution, ended up losing I think like $140,000, something along those lines, during the distribution process. And so the United States Mint was like, and Treasury was like, no more, we're not doing that. And so sorry, I got the hair off there. The commemoratives for a while took a big hiatus, and so when this idea was coming around to mint a bicentennial coin and commemorative coin in celebration of the mint, or celebration of the country for 200 years, there was a lot of apprehension against it because of the bad taste that they had from the prior commems. So finally it was approved. Congress approved a bill. They had a competition, and I forget the individual's name who designed the reverse of it. But anyways, nonetheless, he ended up winning, and a lot of people were kind of upset about this design because they felt that it was a representation of a prior painting by what's the gentleman's name, Archibald something. But anyways, it was called The Spirit of 76, and it was actually a painting in 1876, and then again made onto a stamp in the early 70s for the commemorization. But a lot of people said that he copied that with this Drummer Boy. However, the sculptor denies that and says that no, it was actually a representation of his son. So who knows? I don't know. Anyways, the point of the matter is that I really love these coins. The bicentennial was celebrated on the quarter, the half, and the dollar, which I'll get to in a later video. But I still find these in circulation, as many of you guys do. That's why it's kind of nostalgic to me. And just like y'all back in the day found Mercury dimes and Buffalo nickels and stuff like that in your pocket change. Well, this is what I found as a kid growing up. And so I know they're not worth anything, but guess what? I still grab them at it when I do receive them in pocket change and just put them in a little bag and kind of have it as a talking point, you know. So not worth anything, but the actual proofs, you know, in higher grades, they come out with a little bit of premium. So, and they just look so awesome with the reflectivity and the frosty feel, or the frosty devices. Absolutely love it. So that's the bicentennial. And then moving on to a more modern coin here. Many of you guys have seen this. This is a 1999 Proof 69 D Cameo in the state of Delaware. So the 50 state quarter program was the most successful coin program for the mint in history. Not only did it bring in a ton of seigniorage revenue, which is the amount of minting, the money that it's costed to mint the coins and that they actually sell for face value and receive within the economy, is what that represents. But not only did it bring in about, I think it was $5 billion or so of seigniorage, it also was another 200 and something million of numismatic profits. So highly successful in bringing that in. Again, another commemorative program. And again, not only was it successful financially, it was also successful with the coin collecting world. You know, this right here was said, there was a survey that was done in the early 2000s that said over half of Americans actually were collecting the series in some form of fashion. And so this, you know, in a sense, brought the numismatic collector ability into half the population of the United States of America. And that is just fascinating, you know. Without this, it would have been a very, very soft market today, I feel. You know, this is what got a lot of collectors that are still collecting today into the hobby. And still a lot of kids that are starting out, you know, people are getting their kids into the hobby with collecting the state quarter series because it's relatively cheap. You can find them in pocket change. It gives kids an amazing history on each of the different states. Is the designs the best of, you know, the most intricate with the regard to the reverses? No, in my humble opinion, but nonetheless, it gives that person who's collecting these coins the ability to go and look into it further and to understand why they have what they have on the back of them. So pretty neat. You know, it was the mastermind of a representative out of Delaware. Ironically, in Delaware, it was also the first coin instituted in this program, but and again, kind of brought some discontent at first, but once they proposed it saying, hey, they can earn this much money off of it, they were on board. So really cool. I got the 1999. This is the first coin that was minted for it. Why I chose this one? Because it was the first coin, so that's kind of neat. Secondly, all these coins are issued by the way the states ratified the Constitution and or entered into the Union. So Delaware being the first one. So if you take a look, set this down here, you take a look at the reverse. This is by a gentleman named Caesar Rodney. So who was this guy? Caesar Rodney, riding there on his horse, looking all rad. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Anyways, Caesar Rodney was a pretty significant member back in the day in Delaware. So he was a president of Delaware at one time. He was a military officer during the French and Indian War. And he was also a member of the Continental Congress. And so during the time of signing of the Declaration of Independence, Mr. Rodney found out from other representatives that they're at a deadlock and needed another vote to declare Delaware as a state for Declaration of Independence during this time. And so this gentleman grabbed the remainder vote when it was going down, rode all the way on horseback through thunderstorms in his spurs and get up there down to Philly, and brought in the final vote that allowed Delaware to get ratified the Constitution. So such a cool story there about this gentleman. Really cool. And again, has a little state flag there on the back. Flip this around. So anyways, hope you guys learned something about these quarters here and enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys see these coins, getting them out of circulation? I did. Did many of this? Did any of you guys get brought into the coin collecting hobby from the state quarters? Fun little quick story about that is my grandmother, which I mentioned many times in the past, was the kind of starter of numismatics for me. She always would buy me silver eagles, which I've shown some of them in the past. And when this program was coming out, she signed up for me to receive all the different coins and a neat little album that has a placard of each state with some stamps on there and just a general history of each state in the provinces of America, including Washington, D.C. And that went on for 10 years. And though I lost a lot of interest after the first couple of years, I always had a little spark when I'd get the new placards in the mail each every couple of months. And I have the whole set, and it's not worth all that much, but sentimentally it is. I will show that at another video for you guys sometime, but just a cool story about what old grandma did to keep me into this hobby. And one last look in the reavers. Just love that right there. Oops, the light. Just love that little colonial drummer boy. So cool. Anyways, let's pull these back and just give you guys one little overview. Panned out. Pretty rad. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And without further ado, Silver Surfer out.